Elerion Dynamics unveils an invention to solve the world's energy problems, but will the Galactor terrorist group crush the hope of the world before it starts to bloom? And can the Science Ninja Team and Gatchaman stop them before it happens? We're going to talk about it right here in our review of Gatchaman #1 from Mad Cave Studios. See you in 3. Welcome back to Comical Opinions. This is our review of Gatchaman #1 from Mad Cave Studios. Writer Cullen Bunn dons the glider cape to tackle one of the world's most recognizable anime properties. Revisiting classic properties is the new hotness, so it makes sense that an international IP could be a valuable asset for a publisher willing to give longtime fans what they've been waiting for. Does Bunn do the Science Ninja Team justice in this issue? And that's the team that's on the cover if you're new to Gatchaman. Well, let's find out. We begin with a press announcement from Dr. Mueller, who is a member of the Elerion Dynamics Corporation. His latest invention is a fusion accelerator. It's guaranteed to solve the world's energy problems. Before he can unveil the device and the formulas and everything that goes along with it, a strange ship comes out of the sky right above the city. The ship looks like a flying saucer on the bottom with a giant sundew on the top. It's a mecha. And the mecha starts destroying all the buildings that are in the surrounding city area, threatening to destroy Dr. Mueller and his inventions. Writer Cullen Bunn is wasting no time jumping the readers right into the action with a minimum amount of setup and just get right to the big stuff. The pace is high and the destruction is pretty brutal, so you get the same feeling as you would if you were watching the original Gatchaman anime cartoon. Every second counts in a cartoon. You can't waste any time because you only have 22 minutes or so if you account for commercial breaks. So it looks like Bunn is taking that pacing into account by getting right to the action, not wasting any time, and ignoring all the common tropes of a lot of decompression. So Bunn is really taking the source material to heart. Meanwhile, we catch up with Dr. Kozaboru Nambu, whose beta team is training to infiltrate a high security facility inside a simulation, sort of like a danger room. The team members are strong-willed and they're highly capable, and they're itching to be ready for the day when they take over from Gatchaman and the Science Ninja Team as the alpha team or the lead team. Suddenly, the beta team is ambushed by the Science Ninja Team as the last challenge in the simulation. They exchange some blustering words, a little smack talk, a little bit of playful insults, if you will, and maybe even possibly a little bit of romantic flirting, depending on which team members you're talking about. But the fight is abruptly stopped when Dr. Nambu receives word of the attack on the city. Cullen Bunn uses the training scene to expand the cast of characters with some new and original characters in the Gatchaman lore, establishing some interpersonal tension between the two teams for different reasons. Some of it might be romantic, some of it might be professional jealousy. There's all kinds of room and opportunity to play with the dramatic tension there. That said, it's impossible to immediately see the beta team and the way they're introduced and not suspect that Mad Cave might try to do some character swapping and changes to the lore. To be honest with you, when I saw the beta team, I got that sort of immediate knee-jerk reaction. It eventually worked itself out because the main Science Ninja Team comes to the front pretty quickly, but you can kind of see the potential there, and that's just sort of a knee-jerk reaction that's just too common with Marvel and DC audiences. As a quick transition between the announcement that there's an attack on the city and the Science Ninja Team leaving, we get the classic fan service introduction montage. So Bunn basically went back to the cartoon and say, how would they introduce the team as a sort of name and character and vehicle capability type of montage, and he gives it to you right in the middle of the comic. So it's definitely a bit of fan service, but I think it's positive fan service and it works well. When the God Phoenix, which is the Science Ninja Team's airship, arrives on the scene, they're quickly awed by the size and destructive power of this sundew mecha, which is trying to destroy the city. The mecha destroys buildings with the swipe of its mighty pedals, I guess that's the right word for it, and it also does something unique. It sticks tanks and heavy machinery to its body to use it as a form of armor, which it can then project out very quickly like some kind of bullet or a cannonball. The God Phoenix escapes total destruction, but the sundew mecha snatches up the airship and begins swinging it around like a hammer. The God Phoenix survives, but it's also now being used as a weapon. Again, Cullen Bunn is using the show don't tell method of putting our heroes on the ropes with overwhelming force and size. It's all about the action. There's very little exposition or dialogue. There's just enough dialogue to kind of get the characters to assess the situation, but that's about it. This is all about the visuals. You feel like you're watching the classic cartoon because you're leaping right into the action with the minimum amount of setup. Bunn brilliantly sticks to the style of storytelling from the original source material which is a big positive. Readers who are expecting a more mature, more modern, sort of grim and grown-up version of superhero storytelling, this is not for you. That's not to say you can't enjoy it. Of course you can enjoy it, but I'm just saying that if you like the original cartoon and just snap and pop and getting right into the action pretty quickly, sort of really geared towards folks that just need the visual excitement of it, this is the one that you've been waiting for. We conclude the issue with Dr. Nambu helplessly watching his elite team get tossed around like rag dolls. He fears that the worst possible outcome is now even more possible, and he signals to the beta team, here it comes, to get ready to lend aid. The ending establishes a simple, clear, effective cliffhanger, which is a good thing, and the predictability is nowhere to be found. You know something's going to happen, but you have no idea what direction this is headed, which is exactly what you want out of a cliffhanger. But now you get that kind of nagging impression that the beta team's going to step up and replace our mainstay heroes. Will that happen? We don't know. We'll find out in the next issue. Let's talk about the art. Artist on this book is Chris Batista, and big old tip of the hat to Mr. Batista for absolutely nailing the look, the tone, the vibe, the action. Everything works. It feels like you're reading the comic book paper version of the original Gatchaman cartoon. The science member teams look source accurate. The action is over-the-top exciting for what you've come to expect from this type of property, but it doesn't look silly or get ridiculous. And the bright pop of Carlos Lopez's coloring is amazing. This looks like the cartoon come to life again, which if you're a fan of Gatchaman is exactly what you want. Let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture of where does this series fit in the greater Gatchaman canon or continuity or timeline? The answer is not sure. It's an indeterminate place in the timeline. On the one thing, that's good because you can get a fresh story with fresh ideas and not be beholden to any one or two particular developments, but at the same time, it doesn't really sit anywhere that you would recognize. So on the one hand, it doesn't break canon, doesn't break continuity, but at the same time, it feels like it's just could be any place in the timeline, which is good overall. I mean, we don't want something that's going to step on known stories and known character developments. Final thoughts, what are we going to think about Gatchaman #1 from Mad Cave Studios? It's a pretty faithful start or a modern take on a classic anime with source-accurate character work, designs, and situations. Plus, Cullen Bunn adopts the pacing and the storytelling style of the original anime, which is fantastic. You get right into the action, and the art team's delivery looks great. Everybody looks like they should look from the original cartoon. Therefore, we're going to give Gatchaman #1 a 9 out of 10. Deserves that score because it's exactly what you want. Your expectations are met even though it's not predictable and the same being the same. What do you think? Are you a Gatchaman fan? If you are, give us a thumbs up down below. Also, leave a comment. Let us know what your hopes and dreams are for this series, assuming it goes forward from here after the first arc is done. Thank you very much for joining. And if you like more reviews just like this one, please stay tuned through the outro for the next review.